The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
April Fools! Welcome to Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. We're live here at the SWBC podcast studio. Joined here by Bree and Aisha. Sorry for the late start, y'all. We had some technical difficulties to get to this point, but we're here. We're a little winded.
I know.
A little walking.
Got some fresh air. We're good.
Yeah, all is well. All is well. We tried to
face.
do a little prank on Aisha.
Yeah, I was about to.
You about
really
to take
work
this
out.
show.
I was like, what I say?
No one told you you were hosting today?
They ain't in my ministry.
Oh. All right. Well, Bree, thank you for being here today. We missed you last week. Our girls been covering some pretty important stuff you may or may not have heard about. You got back from Birmingham, Alabama, literally this morning. So how was that?
It was great. It was fantastic. I caught an early flight, changed an early flight because I didn't want to miss 2 weeks because I've been seeing Cowboys Nation going crazy on there. But March Madness, I was covering the women's bracket in Birmingham, Region 3. South Carolina, of course, is headed to the Final Four once again. It was so cool to see them in their element. But obviously, I was there to cover Texas versus TCU. It was so big for the state, you guys.
Yeah.
See all these women athletes. Most of those starters on both sides are going to be declaring for the draft. And it's just amazing. And it just, women empowerment, I mean, it speaks to what we're doing here, right? We're 4 women typically every week talking football. I love it. I loved where I was at. Congratulations to the Longhorns as the first time going to the Final Four since 2003. Vic Schaefer did that. It was emotional. He was crying. It was great. You love the tears. You love the passion. But like I said, I'm glad to be here with you and covering the Cowboys.
Well, girl, we love having you back. We missed you next week. We did our own version of March Madness, Girls Talk, Boys Talk style last week.
Saw a little bit of that.
We
Real
did
fun.
a bracket.
Real fun. But this week, as you guys know, it is April Fool's Day. So you have to be a little wary of the information that you're getting today. But what was not a joke was Jerry Jones talking to the media at the owners' meeting today. And he had a lot to say, ladies, as we know. Our group chat was blowing up today of new updates pretty frequently this morning. So let's get right to it. One of the main, if not the main topic that was brought up was obviously the status of Micah Parsons' contract and the new deal, how that's going. Let's play a shot. Let's listen to a soundbite of what Jerry said, then we'll get into it a little bit more.
Well, I know that I've spent 5-6 hours with him myself. And had a lot of discussions. Most of the issues are in agreement on, and I've discussed it all. And so, but we obviously don't have an agreement relative to a new contract. Michael's under contract, and so we'll see how that goes. It's not uncommon for me to visit directly with players, and in this particular case, that's the way I'm doing it.
Shout out to our friend John Machota for these videos that he was posting on Twitter. Now, ladies, that sounds interesting enough, right? Like, he's kind of alluding to direct conversations. But then Jerry kind of continued to go on and said this.
And are you kidding me? That's just not something that you should worry about. You should be worrying about your ability to make it work, and you should be worried about what the player does. Does he have good enough health? Does he have enough skill to do what you're paying him the money for? The agent is not a factor here, or something to worry about. And I don't know his name. And so my point is that I'm not trying to demean him in any way, but this isn't about an agent. The agent doesn't have one thing to do with what we're doing when we get on a football field against a team. Micah does. To the degree I'm involved, I do. The people that have something to do with what we do going forward relative to our fans in football or me and the player, not the agent. And I'm not demeaning the agent. I'm just saying anybody can do this, and that's talk directly to a player. And frankly, most people that negotiate me will tell you that they were better off than negotiating with anybody, Stephen or anybody involved. So this is not uncommon. Directly with as far back as Emmett, Dion, and we, by the way, maintained a relationship that lasted well after their playing days.
And to put context to that, he was pretty much asked if he's been in contact with Micah's agent, to which, about, 3 minutes ago, Micah Parsons tweeted out about this. Quote tweeting Clarence Hill's tweet, he said, "Facts, David is the best. David's his agent. And I will not be doing any deal without tagging David involved. Like anyone with good sense, I hired experts for a reason. There is no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts than David. There will be no backdoors in this contract negotiation." Preach. Ladies, thoughts on this whole saga this morning, because it was a little bit of a roller coaster, if you will.
It's a lot to unpack. I'm glad Micah said something about it, because the first thing I wrote before we even got here was Clarence's tweet about record contract without his agent involved. And I'm like, okay, I'm in a business where I sign contracts that have anything close to what Micah Parsons is about to make, but I still don't go into that room without my agent. Right, I'm not, like I said, nothing is touching what Micah's about to make, right? So it was just kind of like, I think I've only been covering the Cowboys going on my second season. Jerry is Jerry, okay? Everything is going to do what it does so the Cowboys stay where they're at, and that is at pretty much the national headlines, right? We're talking about a team who's coming off a losing season, and guess who the national media is talking about every single time? When I saw Micah Parsons, it was quoted, contract has no urgency. I was like, I'm not biting. Not doing it. Did it with you guys last offseason with the CeeDee Lamb. He doesn't mean it for that part. We know this is urgent. We know this is a priority. We know they want him to be a Cowboy. They know we want to retire him as a Cowboy. But they also know that his price is going up. They know they're going to have to meet at least what Myles Garrett just got paid. Okay, there's a new market. And as much as Cowboys fans and a lot of us in this building want it to feel like there's a deadline, there really isn't. Okay, he's contracted to still have a full year with this team regardless. And Micah's just sitting back, feet kicked up, and letting the price go up. That's how I see it. Like, I'm not biting too much into it. Yes, this would be great if it was done already, but I don't think this is getting done before the draft. I don't even think it's getting done before camp starts, to be honest. I think they're going to kind of press and see, is he going to do all the things he said he was going to do at the end of the season? And that's showing up to stuff that he normally doesn't, because he says it's nothing against anything, but he doesn't really typically go to the voluntary OTAs and all those such, but he said he would. So I think they're going to sit back also and see if he does that. What do you think?
Huh?
I know. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Dissociating.
I mean,
again.
what I
She's
think
upset.
initially hearing the commentary, insert the Nick Young meme. Huh? This ain't got nothing to do with the agent? The agent's not important? Since when? Since when are agents not intricate to these contract talks and the things that go on? So that whole thing was odd. Here's the thing about contracts, and this is how it's always been explained to me, is that players are playing, when they get paid for what they've done, not for what they are going to do.
Facts.
He has done more than enough.
Yep.
It is frustrating. It really is frustrating me, because to me, I understand, the give and take, the conversations, the negotiations. I understand all those things. But when I earn something, I earned it.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be this back and forth and all this stuff that's going on. And I don't particularly like the commentary regarding the agent personally. I don't, because to act like they're not important to what's happening right now and things like that to me is not realistic about what this is, how this goes and how this works. In regard to Micah coming to the voluntary workouts and all that stuff, all right, whatever. I mean, so he who's the left tackle? Are we gonna get plays off?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like,
Yeah.
He goes.
Bigger fish to fry.
You have bigger fish to fry. And the thing is that when Micah goes and he is in that voluntary workouts, it's not that he's not working. It's not that he's not training. It's not that he's not doing anything. But we already know also, too, he is a level of athlete that is continuing. I enjoy the fact that he's trying to continue to get better. Is there something to be said about him being connected to the team and other players feeling like he needs to be present? Fine, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
But what, he has to prove himself in that regard?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're saying? We're going to wait and see if he comes to voluntary workouts to see if he's really engaged in stuff. This is, I mean, is he on trial? What is this?
Yeah. It's interesting because, Bree, to your point, he's never done that. And that's not anything shocking, but yet it continues to make headlines every
And a lot of players don't.
And to be fair, he's doing other things to train in that time that he's gone, and we know that based on things he says, based on things other people have said. He's getting into offensive line geniuses' minds to see how they think, how he can be better. What was he doing? Sumo wrestling last offseason? I mean,
Boxing.
this man's doing different things to better his art and better his skill here. So it's not like he's just sitting around on the couch, hanging out, not doing anything, right? So I think this is such an interesting wave to say out loud that they're kind of going through negotiations with each other, and Jerry did mention that Micah is one of the only people he gave his cell phone number to. He said, quote, "One of the 3 individuals that has my cell number, he asked for it about a month ago. I want to be able to talk to you at any time. I said, Micah, you're one of the few, but we'll talk anytime. Call me." Why does he have to call you?
There's more.
Can we talk? Like,
I personally think it right now.
I'm bothered.
I'm bothered as well. I'm starting to think there's more to what's going on, because we looked at this contract. This conversation is very cut and dry.
Yeah.
He's one of the best. You pay the best.
Yeah.
Period.
But with some of this conversation and the phone numbers and the bringing up the agent and I'm not demeaning, but I kind of am. The agent. What is there something else going on that we don't know as far as like what they are looking for from Micah? Because
I will say,
if it was just about his play, I don't understand.
I will say this. You know why I'm not getting worked up and I'm not frustrated is because this is what the Cowboys.
Oh, Bree, don't say that.
Here's the thing.
And this isn't a bad thing. The 2 things that listen, Zach Martin's retirement. What did Jerry go up there and say? He said, "I've never spoken to Zach Martin's agent to get a deal done. I've always gone through Zach Martin."
Oh, barnacles.
He also said at the end of the season, yes, I like my coaching staff. I like Mike McCarthy, all this kind of stuff, right? But he also said he has the option to talk to these teams. I want to see if he's loyal, basically. Remember that? This is why I'm not getting worked up. This is what Jerry Jones does. And then I don't even think it's like to people on the outside and to the other 31 organizations, it's weird. But working here and being alongside Jerry and seeing how it works, I'm almost accustomed to it because I don't see it as disrespect or what have you. This is how he does business, and he is not going to shy away, and he's not going to do things differently. This is Jerry Jones's team, and this is how they're going to do it. He's going to do things that are out of the box.
Here's the thing. Yeah, but does that make it right?
Oh,
because here's my
Absolutely
thing.
not.
Zach Martin, no disrespect to Zach Martin. Go. We miss you already. That's a different generation of football. And this is a new millennial generation coming in here that is not going to sit around and have to take pay cuts and have to, take side roads to get what they deserve. Listen to what Jordan Lewis just said when he left, that he didn't want to have to take a pay cut to stay here. And I don't think that should be the case every year, that you just rely on the fact that you are the Dallas Cowboys and guys want to be here. Because, they do. And Micah is a player who has talked about he just wants to play football, but it doesn't mean he deserves to have to take less because that's how it is here. That's the whole issue. And I think it just goes deeper than that's just how Jerry Jones is, because as a millennial myself, that mindset and that shift of, the older generation doing that's a big conversation, especially now. I know for me, when it comes to my paycheck, look, I want to take what I deserve, and I'm not putting my body on the line like Micah Parsons is. season in, season out. Like, y'all have to think of it as a perspective of he is a human with a job, with a family, with children, right? He's not just here.
A football player.
He's
not.
I think that's why it's so upsetting to hear, because it just should be done already. Like, this even goes back for me as far as you knew this was coming. Why is it just not, like, why do you wait until the last minute to get it done? It's an itching point, you know.
Or you must have a good therapist because your emotional regulation is on point.
You know,
she said, pass
that info along over here.
You know what?
I would love that.
I'm not gonna let it stress me out. Like I said, I think we can sit in it and say, like, have your feelings, because I think in the back of my mind, I feel like that I'm like, yeah, this is how they do things, so whatever. Mm-hmm. But it also is just like, but to what end?
Yeah.
When you have a player like Micah Parsons, like, what precedent are you setting?
They're gonna make him. They're gonna
set
a new market.
Yeah, they're gonna pay him, and that's what Jerry was saying. Like, yeah, we intend to pay him. We know there's gonna be a deal. Like, let's just be realistic.
We know that.
Yeah.
It's just gonna come at a weird time. We gonna have other things going on. It's gonna be breaking news.
It's just, to me, if you want to just be about football and winning, you get rid of the distractions and the outside noise, and you just do that.
The distractions sell.
You just get the deal done.
Working in the media, they do.
Girl, bye. But the point, you just get it done. Like, for media, great. For the guys in the locker room that have to be the story, not great. You know, for Micah Parsons that still has to come in and do his job and have this lingering, like, Micah said time in and time out, conversations on camera, conversations I've even had with him, just in the locker room in general, it's not about money for him. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve to get paid what his worth is. So, anywho, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to hear what Brian Schottenheimer, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, still getting used to that, had to say about this, as well as some other lingering questions, such as that wide receiver 2 spot. Stay with us. This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk. We'll be right back.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes, and next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Do it for confidence on and off the field. Do it for you. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Don't wait. Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Hey parents, get ready for an exciting time at Little Stars presented by Nuna on Wednesday, April 16th. This free Easter-themed event is perfect for your little bunnies age 5 and under. Join us from 10 to 12 p.m. for fun activities, hopping games, and lots of sweet treats. Visit thestardistrict.com for more info.
The little bunnies. Are you kidding me?
That is kind of cute.
How are we in April?
Welcome back to Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. Jess, Bree, Aisha here. Yeah, how are we in April?
It's going by real quick.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's almost draft time.
So, you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up.
Boom, boom, boom.
So glad you brought that up. Here's why. Brian Schottenheimer decided to talk on a few key things. We do have a soundbite, not to drag this whole Micah conversation out, but he did speak on Micah's contract and kind of like what they expect from him going forward. So, Chris, if you don't mind playing that, we would love you forever, even though we already will.
It's playing. It's not playing.
Oh, no. April Fools.
Technical difficulties?
Okay, that's okay. Let's go over the bullet points of it. Thank you, Chris. We still love you. But it does say that he said at the end of the day, this is business. Things like this take time. And Micah said he will still be around. So I don't think y'all can expect any holdout situation.
Doesn't sound like it.
If y'all were wanting that, that's not the direction things were sounding like they're going in. So there's that. As far as draft, Shotty did talk about that. He said he talked about, you'll love this, Aisha, talking about taking the best player available. That always feels like the best way to go. That they feel like they're not done yet with what they've done, during free agency going into draft. Oh. Okay, let's reverse back, pretend I didn't say any of that, talking about...
Yeah, you guys know, hey, look, at the end of the day, this business, and when you're dealing with, the money that's being tossed around, not just with Micah, but with the big-name players, negotiations sometimes take time. I feel very comfortable. Micah said he's going to be around. I think that's what he wants to be. I think we're all very comfortable with that, and at the end of the day, he's a great player, and, we think, he's just getting started, to be honest with him. So I have no question in my mind that he'll be around.
Thoughts, ladies?
There needs to be a study done on how, at the end of the day, gets input into everyone's vocabulary that works here. It just takes over your body.
At the end of the day, the day has to end.
It just takes over your body.
You're going to start saying it too, Brie. Like, you're going to not understand and realize that you're just saying it.
At the end of the day.
When you start walking in this building, you just start saying it.
It's going to get you. I mean, obviously, Brian Schottenheimer is driving the ship at this point. So if he and Micah have had conversations and he believes Micah's going to be here, like they said before, he is technically still under contract. So, yeah, I guess just do what you got to do.
And thoughts on his talk about taking BPA in the draft?
Oh, that's my favorite.
That is your favorite.
That's my favorite. I mean, the Cowboys are obviously in a unique spot. I think somebody asked me last week, like, who do you think they're going to pick? I'm like, listen, I think it could be a wide receiver, a corner, a defensive end. I think it could be any number of things. They have so many positions they need to fill. So for me, but they did say that, I think I did hear one of them mention explosive, looking for an explosive player for that wide receiver 2 spot. And we've talked about it for years now that CeeDee Lamb needs a number 2 that people are going to respect as well, so they can take some pressure off of him. If that is their intent moving forward, I actually tweeted, like, it sounds like they're going to develop the guys they have here. They're still talking about Mingo, still talking about Jalen Tolbert, Flournoy, all those gentlemen. But they still want to continue to try to get someone in the draft. I think there's going to be quite a few guys there that are going to help this team. So if it's a wide receiver, y'all, I'm going to faint.
Oh, you're going to
faint? You don't want it?
On draft night?
Oh, she's
I'm going to faint. I'm going to be ecstatic if it's a wide receiver. If it's a wide receiver... I just don't think we can state how much that's going to open up your offense if a young guy comes here. And you need immediate impact, correct? You need immediate impact. So I'm happy with it. Yeah. Do the BPA, whatever the case may be. What you got?
Are you heart set on a specific position? Or are you
is there one you think we need more than others?
My thing, when I'm sitting down, I'm looking at the draft, the Cowboys are in a unique position because there's not maybe one position group I'd be like, what are we doing? But there's so many needs, right? So yeah, I think I agree. Best player available, that's what you want. And I like that they're thinking that way. They're not going in set like, okay, we have to have this, because you guys really could spread around. But I want to see what the Cowboys' identity is as a team. Because when I look at the team like the Bengals, it's pretty clear what their identity is and why they can be that, right? They are this offensive-minded team that they know they paid who they need to pay, and they're going to be slinging that ball downfield. And their defense, if it does not match, their offense is going to pick them up. So I'm trying to look at this team now that there is an offensive-minded head coach that came in who has all this coaching staff that are pretty adamant that they're going to run the ball. and that is going to be part of their identity, which was not last year. I'm really interested to see how invested they are making that work. I'm a little scared when I say that because when you have an offensive lineman type of vibe of a coach and you just retired Zach Martin and you have the number 12 pick, I'm looking at Aisha's face. I'm not going to be surprised if they address that early on, only because I feel like that position group, if you do let it go further, you're taking a chance. I know, Aisha, I'm saying it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I might throw up because I don't want to see that. I would love for them to get that explosive number 2 wide receiver, but yes.
You think they're going to go offensive line? That's what you're saying to me.
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised. Because right now, that group, it's young, it's exciting for the coaches they just brought in.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that's their emphasis.
Man, I want them to do it. I don't want them to do it. I want them to find value in the later rounds. I want them to develop. I've seen Clayton Adams work with not first-round picks. They had one on their freaking offensive line in the Cardinals, yet they were still efficient. Like, you need to use that for skill positions. I'm sorry. Your top 3 picks need to be skill positions. I can't take it no more.
I want a new shiny toy. That's what I want. I want a star wide receiver or a star running back in
I beg
first
of thee.
round. Oh my God.
I beg of thee.
Here's the thing.
I would love
Here's
it.
the thing. As much as I feel like, yeah, the offensive line needs depth,
Yeah.
I just feel I would feel more comfortable with the offensive game plan, shoddy or not. Whoever was the coach, I always just wanted somebody at that 2 spot in the wide receiver room, solidified, done. You don't have to worry about it because it's a constant conversation, and it's been for 2 years of Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks, Kevontae Turpin. I just think at this point, you kind of know where they are in that lineup, and that's okay. They can still have value. Like, don't get it twisted. I think each of these guys in that wide receiver room can have value in their own way, in their own skill set. However, I just think you need a solidified number 2. And free agency obviously wasn't the time to
voting
get it.
everyone.
Oh, I'm for a wide receiver
Or running back.
or a running back with receiving capabilities.
A unicorn.
But the wide receiver, too, you mentioned the Bengals. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. You mentioned Philly, Devontae Adams, and what is that man's name?
Where are you trying to go to?
Are you still in Philly?
Yeah.
I know. We're like, what?
I said, what team? You just jumped team to team.
Why his name slipped me like that? Who's their wide receiver one? A.J. Brown.
Yes.
A.J. Brown.
Yes.
I
didn't know where you were going with that. I was like, hold
on. The Commanders have Terry McLaurin, and then didn't they just sign someone during free agency?
They signed a lot of people, girl.
Tater tots. Anyway.
Your point.
We get you. Everybody got a 1-2.
The 1 and the 2. So
you need the 2.
It's just time. So
all right.
Playing these games.
Well, we're going to take our next break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what Shotty said about the offensive line updates. Who could be at center? Not only that, I want to get into some of the NFL rule changes you could see this upcoming season and how it could impact the Cowboys. Stay with us. This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk. We'll be right back.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
When you're on the field, you know what it takes to lead your team and play with confidence. But that confidence shouldn't just stop at game time. It should follow you off the field, too. Join over 500 NFL players who trust Invisalign, the #1 doctor-recommended clear aligner brand. Do it for confidence on and off the field. Do it for you. Ready to take the first step towards a smile you'll love? Don't wait. Visit Invisalign.com/NFL and find a doctor near you today. Transform your smile and take your confidence to the next level, both on the field and off.
How do you tell the world about all the great gifts in the Yeti store? Let her rip, Troy.
All right, folks, let's get started with the Yeti French Press. Enjoy coffee that stays hot for hours in a French press. 34 ounce for you, 6'4" for the cruise. The Yeti French Press. Next, waterproof bags. Bags waterproof. Submersible waterproof doubles. Waterproof bags. World's mostly water, so get a waterproof Yeti bag. Do I smell something cooking? Oh, new cast iron skillets made to be passed down like Mama's recipes. Take a steak, cornbread, cobbler's pot pie, and potatoes next level with 3 sizes of Yeti cast iron skillets.
Gear, gifts, and product experts. Visit the Yeti store on McKinney Street and at South Lake Town Square today.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The first ever Lone Star Smokeout is coming to Arlington. Watch headliners John Party, Cody Jinks, Midland, and more at this 3-day outdoor country music festival. Plus, enjoy barbecue from some of the best pitmasters in the country. Get your tickets today at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium. Listen,
yeehaw!
I wanted some barbecue the other day. What? First of all, why is barbecue so expensive?
No, really.
I'm mad. You about to... You all right?
She
all right?
hold my hand.
I'm just saying it wasn't this expensive.
Where's your camera?
This is my camera.
Okay.
Why is barbecue so expensive? What y'all did to barbecue?
Oh my God.
The price has gone up.
I just want some potato salad, some jalapeno
That's not the only
cheddar
thing the
sausage.
price keeps going up for.
I was waiting for somebody.
I'm
I
upset.
left the door open.
All right, well, go
Potato
to the
salad.
Lone Star Smokeout.
Well, you could go there. Maybe it'll be cheaper there.
We'll see.
You could go to. Let me see.
It'd be taxing.
Hold on. SeatGeek.com, the
Everything.
official ticketing partner of AT&T Stadium.
Get you
Hey,
some barbecue that's affordable.
I can't stand it.
I mean, all the affordable.
Just go on
barbecue,
payday.
I feel like
Make
it's
it
like,
rain on payday.
Not great.
Baby, I went to Hutchins. I almost
So good.
my credit card bill.
But it was worth it.
Ah.
Every second. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get back to it.
Sorry, y'all.
All right, ladies. We kind of left off. Now I'm hungry. With what Shotty was talking about earlier today and yesterday, I believe, about the offensive line. Bree, you had sent this out in the group chat, and it was an interesting little nugget, kind of about the future. Pretend I have like a little ball of future right here.
Pulling it up now. So
Yeah. I'm killing time. And so I'm looking into the future of what Brian Schottenheimer says the offensive line will look like, specifically at center. And he said...
Cooper Beebe at center is the plan right now. He had this to say about Brock Hoffman can be a 17-game starter at right guard. I would never bet against Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman, man, if I was a back room of a bar I had to get out, the way he's wired, he would be one of the first guys I'd want with me. What do y'all think about that?
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. That's my first one.
Yeehaw!
I love it.
Aisha?
What do I think about it? I'm okay with it. I understand that a lot of people, I watched Cooper Beebe's tape, Beamer. You know how much we liked Cooper Beebe coming out in the draft as a guard. However, he has taken on the challenge of learning center. And for how much they took him through last year with perfecting his snaps and getting better, I understand that interchangeability is something that has become valuable in the NFL, but we also have to also value development and what changing positions does to development, and that it can stifle and things like that. So for me, and as in regard to Brock Hoffman, yeah, I think Brock Hoffman is an adequate starter. I do. I think he's an adequate starter. His temperament fits. I think he is going to help you out in the run game, especially getting to the second level and some of those things. So I'm okay with it. And I think one thing, and this goes back to our conversation earlier about the offensive lineman possibly being drafted, is that you have to develop. You cannot depend on guys coming in and being early round picks and that being your bread and butter. This is a man that has worked his way up, and so it keeps the competition fresh. It's fine to me. The sooner that they have a solidified offensive line, the better it's going to be for the rest of the season. Right? So for me, cool. If that's what they're going to run with, that's what they're going to run with. And I think that's enough. I think Clayton Adams is a coach that's shown he can do enough with 3 high-level starters and then some other guys, whatever the case may be. So I'm cool with it for now. What does this mean for TJ Bass returning from a quad? Is he going to be your swing guard now? Because Hoffman kind of filled in as it does take a piece away.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something you address, but Hoffman as the starter isn't something that scares me. What about you ladies?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm looking at the O-line, and if you're talking about the starting, who would start today, like who's the oldest O-lineman, like that's a young group, right? And to your point, developing and who they brought in, that's the exciting part. And then I'm just like, I'm interested in Cooper Beebe. Like, I know he came in and he had to, went through those rough patches of learning a new position that he wasn't familiar with in college. However, I would just like to know, what is he most comfortable with? Like, I think that's important too, especially when you're talking about developing in depth. I think it matters. Like, if you keep forcing someone who isn't, comfortable at that. So maybe at what point could you try him somewhere else, if that makes sense?
I think it speaks to how much they trust the development he has made within a year. And, in speaking to Cooper Beebe all last year and, those around him, he's really honed in on what it is to be a center in the NFL. And to be honest, I'm okay with him not moving from that, because you also have to remember the amount of chemistry and just work going into being a center and having a good rapport with your quarterback. That to me is so important. And Cooper and Dak, well, not as much as we would have liked to see last season, but they were building really, really hard on that. And so I think giving him another year to continue to get better at that is the best route, because I do think in terms of kind of some of the guys we've seen in recent times and moving positions and then putting them back, it kind of takes you back a year.
Yeah.
Not that it's not valuable in a way, but I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it for now, especially I think it was smart of them, of course, to get the coaching staff in here early, so the philosophies and stuff can mesh. Also, too, we heard Shotty talk about working with the scouts, making sure he's communicating with them. I'm sure they appreciate that. I'm sure they're excited about being able to be a part of the planning in that type of way. But as far as what the Cowboys want to do, if they do want to run the ball more, I think that Brock Hoffman has some improvement to make in the pass pro department. But do you just find someone to replace that swing guard situation, or just an extra depth piece maybe at center or whatever the case may be, and go about your business? Sure. But also, too, we have to also think, like, most teams don't have a whole starting offensive line to back up.
Yeah.
They don't.
It's like a luxury.
I think we have become accustomed to the fact that we have guys that can plug and play, and that is a beautiful thing. However, that's a luxury.
Yeah.
It's not a necessity.
Yeah.
It's not. So for me, cool with it. Do what you got to do with Brock Hoffman. I think he's earned it, and I think he's going to continue to battle in camp as well. Now, the tackle position is what we do need to be talking about.
Yes.
It's the attitude for me.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's
not that scary, y'all. Don't freak out. It's not that scary.
No, it's not that it's scary, but it does need to be better. Like that. That's
development.
Quickly. Real quick, I want to get into. We have about 5 minutes left of the show. So sad. I know you guys are gonna miss us for a whole week. But there were some rule changes that'll be going into effect this season. I kind of wanted to get into them and see how that's going to impact the Cowboys and the current roster that we know that they have. Something interesting is this. I guess converses with the NFC East. The NFL, according to Jory Epstein, love Jory so much. She said the NFL has tabled its vote on whether to ban the tush push. You knew this was going to be a topic of conversation.
I think it's funny. I don't know.
How do we feel about that?
I'm torn. What you have? How do you feel?
I hate the tush push. You know that.
Okay. What about you?
I can't stand it.
I just coming from Buffalo. I mean, that is, if you look at who runs it the most, or the second team in the NFL who runs it the most outside of Philly. So I guess I'm a little bit biased because I've seen it work. I've seen it push when it needed to get them where they. But I don't know. Like, I think it was Mike Tomlin who said it. I kind of agree with what his sentiment on it. This game is evolving. You talked about earlier, Jess, about the players, like the contract situation, right? It's not the same generation. It's the same with the game and the players as well, the coach's mind. Remember how excited we were in the offseason about getting some of these college coaches, right? They see the game differently, and this organization needed that. And I think that is with the tush push whatever, right? Like that is kind of how some of the coaches got outside the box. They made it their thing, and some teams are better at it than others. Some utilize it more than others. So of course the ones who are getting on the other side, they don't like it, what have you. I'm not totally, against it. I forgot what game was that. I think the Commanders were involved. Was it Commanders and Phillies where like it was just going back and forth and it was getting out of hand. Mm-hmm. So like I don't know how you regulate it. Thank goodness I don't make the rules, but I'm not totally like against it, but I do think when it's getting like excessive like that, like it's too much. Yeah. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, for me, I'm very on the fence about it because I do believe in football. If you find a competitive edge, oh well, so be it. I feel I'm sorry to this man. I don't care. Like, if that's how you do it, that's how you do it. Mm-hmm. I think coaches using creative ways to figure out how to find a competitive advantage is something that we look for in this game. So it's not something that I just hate. The part that makes it difficult for me is the fact that it is not something you can practice. Like, you defensively have no real ways without harming yourselves because of the NFLPA and things like that during practices and things like that. There's no way for a defensive side of the ball to perfect how to defend this because in most situations they can't practice it. Mm-hmm. And again, that it may just be an oh well thing. Like, oh well, you can't practice it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But is it a competitive edge if the teams you're competing against can't practice it, can't perfect it, can't figure out how to counter it, really? I don't know. And I guess it is kind of like a rhetorical thing where it's like, yeah, maybe it is. But I don't know how helpful it is for the game as a whole because it's not something that other teams can carry or do or whatever the case may be. You mentioned the Bills, Bree. Mm-hmm. How successful were they? Because Philly is like, they
might as well call this the Philly rule because that's the reason it's such a conversation.
And I think it's awesome that they took something rugby, oriented and brought it into this league. It just shows how we're kind of married and stuff. But at the same time, if defensive players have no way to figure out how to defend it, it's kind of just bad TV, bad football at that point.
I think that's why I have such a problem with it is because there's no way to practice it. So you're at higher risk of a defensive player getting injured trying to do it.
Yeah, injuries is,
And that's what bothers me the most about it is, when you're talking in terms of player safety, the no fun league, boo-hoo. Look, guys, these are livelihoods of people that have to come out and do this every day. And if you're risking injury just for a tush push, like, to me, that's not a good enough reason to keep it legal. And to an extent, I think once in a game, sure, maybe there's like a limit that they could put on to how many tush pushes you can call in a game.
That's a tush push.
But, that's too many tush pushes. But I think... Yeah, there's
safety above all. Like these are humans, these are men, these have families, and I think
that's
NFL
my biggest thing.
Has done a better job each year. Even with the new kickoff return, right? That was the whole point. It was a safety thing. Yeah. So I'm more interested
in helmets
when I speak about coming from Buffalo and seeing it be successful and what have you. I also would like to see the stats just like they did last year with the kickoff returns and how many people have actually had injuries because at the end of the day this is football, right? You're going to have injuries, but if it's a substantial amount and it's just coming from this, then I agree above all it's safety first. These are human beings, right? So
and one more thing, because you mentioned the new kickoff rule and that kind of stems from spring football, which now has a little place in my heart. Stay tuned for a fun announcement soon, but I wanted to get into the NFL announcing the Sony Hawkeyes technology will be used next season to electronically measure first downs officially now, meaning that the chain crew will remain on the sidelines for just-in-case purposes, but when you have fourth and inches, a third and inches situation, we're going to continue to see that technology come to life, and that's something that spring football does, the UFL implements that, is fun to watch, but... What do you guys think of that? Did you like the games that you saw? I mean, I can't recall of a specific situation where we had to depend on it, but how do you feel about the technology aspect coming into this game now?
I think kind of a lot of what people have been saying on social media, at least what I've saw. I think a lot of it was about time.
Yeah.
It's the same. The game is evolving. We have technology.
Yeah.
Use it. I covered a AAA team that was implementing it last year about calls. Like, there's just technology can do things that humans can't catch, Like, even last night, March Madness, I'm just like, how do you not see that, right? Like, it's those kind of calls, and it's also, if you can double down and get it right, why not? Like, I'm not against it at all. And then I kind of look on the other side. At the end of the day, it's technology. Like,
Yeah.
technology, as we know, can fail. It's not, but so can human error. So I think I think there has to be some, like, okay, when do we use it type of, is it going to, like, how do you, with everything there comes stipulations, what have you, but I'm not against it. I think if you use it correctly, why not?
Yeah, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys would like a word. How many times did he break the plane in the red zone and the end zone? And it was like, just kidding, no. You didn't get a touchdown. I want to say, that's something that he's encountered, but also, too, I'm tired of being like, what is that spot? Yeah. How many times we do that last year?
Yeah.
What is that? How many times do we be like, that's a bad spot? That's
any
a bad
NFL
spot.
game you watch, not even just the Cowboys.
In every game. And if this is going to mediate to some extent, I'm all for it. You put the humans with the electronic stuff.
Double down.
Yeah, the more resources, to me, the better for that type of stuff. Because in these close games, every inch matters. We've learned that with Christy explaining every inch matters. So it's like, however they got to do it is fine with me. I think it's a good rule. And the return rule, too.
Yeah, I like it. All right, guys, we have come to the end of the road for today's episode. Thank you, ladies, for coming and yapping today. For Jess, Aisha, and Bree, this is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. We'll see you next week. Have a great week, and April Fools.
Oh, no.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!